Okay, so this is my model of the brain. You can't really see all of it, but that's okay. I'll maybe move it at the end so you can see all of it. But basically, up here, like in the front part of the brain is the frontal lobe. And so that mostly controls like your muscle movement, your motor skills, and your cognitive functions. And then more like on top, kind of like on top of the brain, you have the parietal lobe, which is going to process your sensations of touch, pain, and pressure. And then kind of on the side, underneath of these two, you have the temporal lobe, which is going to help sort your auditory functions. And then on like the back part of your brain, it's the occipital lobe, which is going to help process those bright visual cues. And then kind of underneath all of that, you have either cerebellum, which receives information from your sensory systems, and then that regulates those muscle movements. So then if we move back up here, this right in between the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe, you have, this is the motor cortex, or the somatomotor cortex, and that's going to process those somatic sensations. And then right after that, you have the somatosensory cortex, which is going to receive your sensory input. And then these two areas, this is the Broca's area, and that is going to, it's going to work with like your language. It's responsible for like your ability to process and produce that language. And then my cat is joining the party. Okay. Sorry about that. This is the Wernicke's area, and that is important for your language development. And then if you come down here, this part that like wraps around everything here is the basal ganglia, and that that controls your voluntary muscle movements, the ones that you have to like think about doing. That's that. And then this little like bean shaped thing is the thalamus, and the thalamus is really just like a relay center for those sensory nerves to transmit signals from the spinal cord to the brain. And then this little spot here is the hypothalamus, which is going to help with some like bodily functions, like things having to do with your body, like controlling your body temperature, your hunger, thirst, fatigue. And then coming over here, this is the hippocampus, this like longer part here. And for that, I just wrote Dory because this is like this is what holds your short-term memories. And Dory from Finding Nemo has a terrible short-term memory. So that's what I wrote for that. And then this is it's kind of like on the end of the hippocampus. It's the amygdala, and that controls your sexual and social behavior. And then coming over here, this little part is all kind of part of your like brain. Like this is your brainstem here. So it all connects, like this bottom part here would be your spinal cord. So first you have the midbrain, which is gonna control those motor movements. And then you have the pons, and those, the pons is pretty much a communication for all the different parts of the brain. It also helps with like the control of your breathing. And then the medulla is also going to work with like bodily functions, but that's going to be like regulating your breathing as well. Heart and blood vessel function, digestion, sneezing, swallowing, just all those bodily functions. So yeah, that's my brain model. Here's the whole thing all together. I actually made this model first, but I hated it, so I decided to paint it.